Ava's leaving was the linchpin that caused NXT to explode, almost literally. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. Right around the Royal Rumble, it was announced that Ava, the daughter of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, was leaving the WWE and her role as general manager of NXT. Came as a bit of a shock, really. She'd been doing a fairly well job at keeping NXT out of total chaos. These last few years, she's been responsible for sending a lot of great talent to the main rosters and molding the NXT women's division into the most competitive one in all of pro wrestling. But I guess she wanted more out of life than being unable to compete to become the Charlotte to Johnson's Ric Flair, so she left just before Joe Hendry won the NXT title. Now, Shawn Michaels has been known for picking oddly when it comes to GMs. One look at William Regal could tell you that. But at least Regal kept the brand going even during the pandemic when he went back to the UK and telecommuted. But I think Shawn really was off his nut when he chose Robert Stone as the interim GM. And that choice sent almost everyone off their nuts. Now, I'll be the first to admit to saying Whiskey Tango Foxtrot when Shawn brought Stone into the GM's office and told him that his 7 years in NXT has earned him this interim job. Sure, Stone has been in NXT for a good while, but he was bad at the jobs he had. He was bad as a manager to some seriously overrated stars on NXT. He was bad the few times he actually entered the ring to defend his disappointing wrestlers. And he was bad as an assistant to the GM. To be honest, I'm shocked the guy hadn't been let go a year or so after the pandemic. We would have been doing him a favor sending him to TNA or even AEW. They might have found something he was good at. But that being said, he has been doing things that Ava probably would never have thought of. For instance, that women's tag match where the one who got the fall was the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. Pretty sneaky. Almost like the all-titles match that became passé lately. And last week, instead of declaring the NXT Men's Speed title would not be contested after a 3-minute draw, he said that the title would be contested in a 7-minute triple threat match. Now, I still think the speed thing is ridiculous, but gotta say, Stone made it an interesting twist. The bad news, however, is that Ava leaving meant that everyone who was chastised by her could now turn around and, in a way, chastise Stone. Show him how hard it really is to be GM. Tavion Heights is wrecking stuff. Miles Bourne is starting a heel turn. Blake Monroe is making like she never met Stone and trying to suck up to him. Not working, mind you. Sol Ruca and Zarya keep delaying their inevitable split. And the chaos should only be growing more, I wager. Hell, even Hendry is starting to get more aggressive than usual. Ava left a big power vacuum in the NXT. Probably not as big as one if, say, Adam Pearce decided to quit Raw, but definitely one that Stone is trying to fill. You know, if only they hadn't let Obafemi abdicate the NXT throne to start a reign on SmackDown. But then again, maybe that's why Ava left. She watched Oba over the last 2 years, working his way to the top, only to have NXT's biggest draw in a long time, Amscray. She might have had enough with WWE fast-tracking certain stars and letting the others wallow in the minor leagues. Just a thought. I mean, Femi leaving was as shocking, if not more, than Ava's. But back on point. I don't think Stone's the right choice. And I think that interim is about as far as he's going to go, no matter how many something news he comes up with. Shawn told Stone he didn't mind a little chaos, but he's nowhere at the point of keeping that chaos a bit more organized. Maybe he will improve in time and get things a little more orderly. But it's a matter of if the NXT stars will give him that chance. I'm, of course, Wolvie Wrestling Pod, who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace. And I'll see ya